morning, everyone. Courtney Heidi here. Surprise, yes, it's me. It's not Stephen today, but thank you so much for joining us. And we have got a wāhine special today because we will be joined by Ariana, who is a business owner. She's a wife, a mother, founder of Māori. So let's welcome in Ariana Paul to our live. Ariana, thank you so much for joining us. How are you going, first of all?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Courtney. It's been lovely to be to share this Friday afternoon with you.
It sure is, and I have to ask you, how are things for you in whānau at the moment?
I'd openly admit that our tamariki are ready to be adopted out. Ready to go to someone else's bubble. But on the whole, I think, in all seriousness, we've traversed quite a lot over these last 5 weeks, and like all whānau, we're trying to figure it out every day how we carry on and be sane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And you guys have, I guess, adopted the term. I've been using the term isolation lockdown, which I do love. And so can you tell me a bit more about the mental thinking around that and using a word like that instead of one like isolation, which is a different, changes the perspective in the way of looking at the situation, I believe.
I guess there are a couple of things to unpack in just using language for me. And when you speak a spoken word, it has such a powerful intention with it. And so when you hear a word like crisis, pandemic, you immediately take on that word and you embody that. Yeah. So the power in being able to change what we're going through and to explain it in something that we all, a lot of Māori, non-Māori feel more comfortable and in tune with is this concept of rāhui. Now, rāhui is, in my understanding, was a tradition or part of tikanga where we would, good to know, say if we were living by the sea like we are now, and we would have noticed that the provision or the supply of food coming out of the sea was starting to diminish, you would put a rāhui on that particular area so that things could start to grow back naturally. So when I think of the word rāhui, it's to put something over the top of it to say now is time for us to be tau and to wait. And so that's my understanding of rāhui. There are many other experts out there, including your whanaunga from Ngāti Kahukura, who could explain that so much better than I have just done. But when I think of rāhui, I can embody that better than I can embody crisis. Yeah.
I think that's a great way, I think, of looking at the whole situation at the moment. And you touched on, I guess, around mental state and well-being. So what are you doing as a whānau? Because I know that you guys obviously play Māori, and I heard you've been getting the kids out on big bike rides and big runs as well. People think that's physical, but at the same time, it's also just helping that mental space up.
I really believe in body and mind, and soul, actually. So when we think about tinana, our physical well-being, we know that it's here for a purpose. And when we sometimes feel out of our body, so we're feeling a bit stressed, or if we're not connected in with what's going around us, one way to ground ourselves back into our body is to go exercising. We're lucky that both my husband Tama and I have probably, ever since we were young, have always enjoyed the physical side of movement, but I now appreciate so much more because I now understand the science behind what movement can do to help relieve the hinengaro and give us some relief in other parts. So there are some natural chemicals that go throughout our body when we're moving, which helps to then generate this other feeling, of this natural high that we can have. And it's very similar to if you're watching a great movie or if you're eating some really yummy food, your body physically has chemical changes that it will go through. And so movement is just one way that we've really kept going. It's like kids have been out twice today and they'll probably go out a third time, but it's important for our kids to have that break out of being stuck inside anyway, and being out in the natural environment, especially on days where we can. And we've been really lucky with winter and how mild it's been, that we're really just trying to make the most of this time that we have and try and keep ourselves healthy. I've got to admit, I really miss the gym. I've been, you can only do so many press-ups and so many before you kind of get like, oh, no, not another one. So I'm looking forward to getting back into some sort of my own routine. But yeah, that's what we do in our whānau.
And then also, both you and your husband, Tama, I believe you're both working from home and it's still full time, and how are you coping with that as well?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's minute by minute, honestly. It sounds incredibly easy. Oh, you get to work from home. But one of the first things I noticed in our house, where there are things that I noticed when we first went into the rāhui was, oh, actually there's 5 of us working from home. Oh, and that's right, we've all got our own ways, styles, and so we had to find a rhythm in our home that was going to work for us, a rhythm around how Tama needed to work, how I needed to work, how the kids needed to learn, how we all needed to eat, and you know, and it was really lots of trials and lots of errors. And it has been about finding a rhythm that works for us. We thought as a whānau that we could take on the persona of being an awesome teacher. We have decided to take that hat off, and we've recognised that our strengths are not teachers. So yeah, we kind of like, we're now more realistic about what we can and can't do inside our homes. And you know, we got to, I remember posting up this one thing on Facebook, and it was something like, if you want to feel successful throughout the day, set your goals really low. And that was like, honestly, just to like, get up, make your bed, great, tick, success. And it's been like that. It's been like, you got to really, in this situation that we're all in, you got to make it work for you, and no one is judging, and no one should be judging, because yeah, everyone is different.
That's so true. And can you tell us about working from home, your businesses, and how it's been going in this time of uncertainty?
I've been really fortunate. A lot of the work that I do I can carry on and have, you know, through technology, still carry on my work. What one aspect that we've found out of all of this is the power of technology to be able to work. And I don't think we realise just how important being a digital native is. And in fact, if you're going to survive after the rāhui, and you know, your business has not got itself or found its way into technology, then I think it could possibly be a real struggle for businesses who haven't sort of pivoted or adapted themselves, or made this an opportunity to learn something about their business. So yeah, I've been lucky, but I know that there are others that haven't been as lucky. We've seen through different platforms how there's been a collective, been a movement, especially for Māori businesses that who perhaps haven't got a presence online, that other organisations like Te Waka or other groups have been able to sort of like take them under their wing and show them and provide them and give them some really quick tips about how to get yourself online. So I've enjoyed watching those developments for our Māori business owners. And I think we've got a fair way to figure out still a lot of the businesses that have been impacted, such as tourism, hospitality, those frontline or customer service type businesses. And that's where I believe education becomes really important. If, I was talking to Tama, my husband, I said, we were talking about the future of work, and this used to be a big, big sort of, in terms of pathwaying, especially rangatahi into careers and things like that. You could kind of map out the future of work and what the big five would be. Professional services, engineering and construction, tourism, hospitality. So, those sorts of sectors would pop into mind. But now you kind of go, future of work.
Yeah.
So I think tertiary learning becomes a really important part, especially for people who've perhaps lost, been really impacted by losing their jobs and are wondering, well, now what do I do? I think we've seen trends from other recessions that, countries do go through where people, unemployment starts to, get higher and higher. So people are looking at ways to reinvent themselves and to re-enter into meaningful employment. I certainly don't want Māori to think, this is my view, to think that we should go for the low-hanging fruits. And that's not to say that there are jobs out there that aren't important, but I just hope that we have aspirations as Māori to really turn something potentially around that has been really significant in our lifetimes into an opportunity for us to recreate our skills and learn. My father, my dear father, who I lost 3 days into the lockdown, he died over in the Chathams. But one of the things that he taught me and my sisters is that learning is a lifetime journey. And he turned 70, would have been 70 in September. He was 69 when he got his pilot license. Our dad was an avid learner. He would, all I can remember is Dad always looking for ways to upskill, to learn and, take hold of these amazing things that are around us. So I just kind of do hope that from this what we're all experiencing, there will be opportunities that we will want to look for, and education is possibly one of those things that we should be thinking about.
That probably brings us to a question that we have here, which is, do you think Māori businesses have preferred face-to-face industries, but connection is our natural space?
Absolutely. Yeah. We are, I believe, we are very relational. We are deeply connected physically and our wairua. So it's really important for us, I believe, that we do think of how we can still maintain this connectivity, albeit maybe through technology, which I actually am a believer in our wairua too, that technology can be a vehicle for us to remain connected with others, and in terms of an emotional feeling or really an energetic feeling that we get when we are unable to be physically present with one another. And again, if I go back to when we had our tangi for Dad, I could physically hold my sisters, or hear my uncles, or listen to my aunties, or, you know, all of those things that I absolutely yearned to have, I couldn't have. But through technology, I could still hear and feel my uncles. I could still see, you know, my aunties, and that really did hold me, and it carried me. My wairua was able to function so that I could function, and I'm really grateful for that experience. I've got to say that as hard as it was for my sisters and I to go through that experience, I'm really grateful that because I had this real spiritual learning from it all, and I don't know if I would have had that greater experience had we have been, who knows, present with one another, but who knows.
And if you don't mind just sharing a bit about what I guess that experience was like, because we've got people going through the same thing and we haven't heard much on it, and we know Māori kind of Māori ways, we always with, I guess, the Passover one, and obviously in these situations we aren't able to do it how we usually would. So what that was like, the experience was like for you as a whānau?
Sure. There are moments where I would reflect, especially in the early days of getting over the shock of losing Dad. The extra stress that we had on us was that he was in the Chathams, and no whānau in the Chathams, and for us to even think that Dad was going to be buried down there without whānau was really hard. So I went straight into autopilot, you know, like I was on a mission to get Dad home, and came across barriers where, you know, people would say to me, you've got to bury your dad on the island, and I wasn't prepared to accept that. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stop when I know I've done enough. So that was part of it. The other part was that I think my sisters and I would all agree that having a rāhui around us gave us time to actually be in solitude with our emotions. Because often when you go into tangi, you're no longer, you know, this your loved one becomes part of the iwi again, and so you give up your that space, that, you know, that kind of where you just want to close off and have this person for the last time with you. We didn't have him, whilst we didn't have him physically with us, mentally we had the space where we weren't being emotionally charged or triggered by others, you know, feelings and emotions. We were able to process our own emotions in our way, and each of us are different. And I think that solitude of rāhui was a real gift, if I can say that.
And it was it from Casketeers, another small business, Tiffany Funerals, who were part of it and helped your whānau in that time?
Yeah, so we had, look, I'd love to just say a big thank you to the Casketeers, to Francis and Wairua for their, just for their empathy, because they were going through difficulties too. As a funeral director, I needed to find somebody that was going to work with us, you know, like, because funeral directors say, I'm sorry, your dad's not embalmed, we can't have him with us, he's not in a steel casket, he hasn't got COVID, he did not die of COVID, you know. So even that, I was like, so as soon as I spoke to the Casketeers, I felt like, you know, they really understood us as a whānau and our mamae that we were going through, and so they made it really as peaceful as they could for us. But still big restrictions around what they could do with our whānau, but essentially, you know, they were amazing for us. And I really am grateful for how we were able to bring Dad home. We got him home. We were able to hold a whānau service. We got everybody in on Zoom. And, you know, so I'm grateful for those moments.
You think about that, and you think about, like you said, how Māori can use technology, because the way we live now is we're very globalised and we are all separated, and you've moved up from Waikato to Auckland. But like you said, it's a good way to still be connected and feel that wairua. And I know that there's whānau out there who they still do their karakias over Zoom, especially in this time, like 7 a.m., 7 p.m. And it's probably just a way for us to learn how we can all still stay connected.
Yeah, most definitely. I absolutely, this is a way that a lot of our kaumātua and queer have had to become very au fait. Last night I was interviewing.
I've had to help many uncles trying to figure out Zoom.
Yeah. But they yeah, I think, you know, they understand that this is the way life has evolved, and so it is a way of connectivity and to stay in touch and to see one another, kanohi ki te kanohi, face to face, even though we can't physically be together. This is probably better than a phone call, but then again, if you don't have an internet, then a phone call is still good.
I agree. And today we're able to do this thanks to Manaaki. And one of the questions is Manaaki a concept across all Māoridom, and is it an inherent value? Yeah.
So for me, again, I would refer to some of your whanaunga down in Ngāti Koriki Kahukura for this. But my understanding of, you know, manaakitanga, we break that down, manaakitanga. Mana, the mana, and I'm kind of like struggling. How do I explain mana? The presence, the you know, the within the sort of the mantle, the responsibility, not responsibility, because mana does bring responsibility, but the mana within mana ki te tangata, mana of people, right? So Manaaki, the Manaaki piece is, when you just look at Manaaki, it's like the, you know, to nurture and to take care, and we do this really well. Our traditions have taught us how to Manaaki, and we, you know, we really know how to Manaaki. There is, if you go to any iwi, any marae around the country, and there's something going on, you will see Manaaki at its best. And you know what? There is no handbook for that. It's just that in that Manaaki, and that when Manaaki is happening, people have roles. And I said, you know, it comes with a responsibility. So people have roles within, say, the marae to Manaaki at different points. So you might Manaaki as the manuhiri who are coming into the marae. There is a component of Manaaki there to understand where they're coming from. So when the karanga is going out and it's being responded to, we're figuring out where you have come from, and we're going to, you know, bring you into this fold with us. As they're doing their whai kōrero on the atia, there's you know, there's all this Manaaki is all around in all the things that we do. And at a very micro level, like within our whānau, it's how do I Manaaki our tamariki? Are my words that I use, how does that Manaaki their wairua? How does that Manaaki their manawa? How does that Manaaki their tinana? So I've got to be very careful around those words again, or the way that we are using or explaining or expressing something to our tamariki. So tamariki understand Manaaki. It's a natural way of nurturing people. Within our Māori businesses, we show Manaaki through, and we probably don't realise. If I try to unpack how do I express Manaaki in my businesses, so I would Manaaki anyone that comes into our home for a meeting or an office for a meeting, first thing I say, would you like a cup of tea? Have you had something to eat? You know, that's a natural thing for me to do when someone comes into a hui. Even if I'm the person that's called the hui, I will make sure that all the manuhiri that have come in have been looked after. Another way of expressing Manaaki in our workplaces, if there is, and this has happened, you know, if I'm in an open space and say someone may sit on a table or something like that, the way, which is in our tikanga, that tables are not for sitting on, tables are not for sitting on. They're used for other things, and so the way I would Manaaki somebody who has done that without really knowing would be, would you like a seat? Have a seat. I can provide a seat for you. So you know, whakaiti their mana. Yeah. So Manaaki is a beautiful, big, bold word that when you really look at it, it is about how do we make people, I guess one way Tama describes it is, you know, people will not remember what you said, but people will remember how you made them feel. So that's just, I think, you know, when we run our events, Try Māori events, he gets really hard. I'm all about Manaaki. You know, we got to, you know, you can't give away everything. There's got to be something where we stay in what we're doing to make sure we keep doing it. But it's just my way of showing Manaaki.
Then I guess now in this time, how do you do that when we're in the situations that we are in now with your business and with the people involved? Yeah.
So I just, half an hour before jumping on with you, Courtney, I just jumped out of a zui with, and we've been doing hauora wellbeing, hinengaro wellbeing workshops. And it was awesome, wonderful workshop. And I just, what my colleague who was working with me, Gail, she said to me, you know what, I really appreciate how you show up authentically at every one of these workshops.
Yeah.
Because I've been at the dentist this morning, and she says you wouldn't know that you had this massive, you know, ache that kept you up all week. So that's when, I guess that's, if I can't physically be with someone to make them a cup of tea or to, I would again be very mindful of what word, you know, my words, my presence, how present am I with these people? What are my intentions to be today? How am I serving? Am I getting to my people? You know, all of those sort of things I kind of have to filter through so that I can Manaaki people that I'm working through on using technology in a way where language matters and in a way that you understand and can really lean into conversations, because I think people often feel that the barriers that we place between us in a physical sense, we can read. So like an example is if you and I were sitting together around a table and I was sitting like this, you would immediately, if I was really hunched up around here, you would guess two things. One, she's either really cold, or two, she's really like not wanting to be here. But in Zui, you can kind of mask all of that, and you can, you know, but there are different ways that people can pick up on your body language, and it is through your reo, it is through your language, it is through your, you know, how present are you with them, how engaged are you in the conversations. And we physically can see shifts in people when we're going through these whole lot of workshops. We can see physical changes. So as I've described this to you, by the end of a workshop, we can see this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a way you can do it. You've just got to be. You kind of got to be Oprah.
But can you just tell us a little bit about the workshops that you're doing and about the well-being and the physical being?
Sure. So these particular workshops, my friend Gail and I have been doing. We joined up together. We've both been doing in our own different ways, creating consciousness around this whole idea around emotions, and how when you're in the driving seat of your emotions, you are amazing, because you can start to wind up or wind down some of those emotions that don't serve you. So we started this little group of ours 3 days before the rāhui started, and it was really only just to see where it went, and to see what it was to serve. We really just wanted to be able to serve and give, tips or strategies to people who might have been in need of some things. And that sort of just kind of got, its wheels, and now we've been delivering workshops to tertiary organisations, corporate organisations, iwi organisations, Māori organisations. And it's really about unpacking our emotions. We talk about it from the whānau whā, so the model, the mental wellbeing model that was developed by Sir Mason Dury in 1984. Now, people say, yeah, that model is it's how many years old, but actually I still find that it is really one of the most powerful models that you can use to help whānau to unpack where they are with their taha tinana. So the 4 pose, yes. And the whānau whā, there are 4 pillars basically, and the essence is that the 4 pillars are 4 critical dimensions within our lives to make us a one whole person. The dimension of tinana, te taha tinana, which is our physical well-being, our taha wairua, which is our spiritual well-being, taha hinengaro, which is our mental and emotional well-being, and our taha whānau, which is our whānau and our social and our friends and our work colleagues and our communities. And so it's very, very broad. Now, each of those dimensions have more than lots of all these little branches that come off that, but basically those 4 dimensions, you can use whānau whā as a model to assess, my well-being, my whole self. Today, I'm feeling strong about my tinana, but I just had an argument with my husband, and I'm really getting, I haven't been able to get our kids into school, and so it's really playing up as stress in my mind. So whilst one of my po or pillars in my whare might be strong, like my tinana, because I've been able to exercise, the other 3 po in my whare are very weak. So at least I can look at those and start to think, oh, okay, let's unpack that a little bit. What is it that I can do for my babies that doesn't create such an anxiety inside myself? Oh, I can be more understanding. I can be more empathetic. I could, so you can start to answer some of your own, your own kind of see where the breakdowns have been, and you can start to address those. And it's just a simple, easy tool. And there's lots. Gail and I, we do say, look, we could really have a wānanga for a whole week to provide different tips, tools and strategies. But we're finding it's just, we love to do that because we love to serve, but we also see the benefits that whānau are getting from being involved in these workshops.
Absolutely, and I think that makes me wonder then, earlier on you spoke about how other industries and whatnot teach Māori and how to use technology as such, but if you think about how much they could use something like that and take it into their business to create, I guess, a successful but a business that is about people and looks after their people inside their whare in a sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think if you apply the principles, like for me personally, I've applied the tikanga practices within and just in general and what I do. So it's kind of like normal for me. But if it's not normal for someone to use, say like if you were to say whānau, so your whānau inside your business would be your work colleagues, would be stakeholders, would be your clients, would be, you know, all of those providers around you that make your business work. So your whānau, your tribe, becomes all of those people that are important to making your business thrive. So you've got to like identify what are each of those, the needs of each of those members within my whānau, and how can I best make sure that I'm supporting what their needs are without, you know, breaking any other pot inside my whare. So that's one example. I know that businesses, we often see, you know, businesses adopting, say, Māori kupu, words, values, Manaaki, aroha, pono, tika. You know, we see them adopting them, and I really do. I think that's really brave, and I get really intrigued about how they actually demonstrate those things. And I know that there are places like Vodafone, for instance. They're, you know, with how they look after their staff, they've got great connectivity with their staff, and wellness is on top of, you know, is on one of their priorities for their staff. So when you start to unpack what values you have in organisations that, you know, are not presented as being Māori, yet they can use Māori kupu as part of their ethos, their philosophy, or their doing things, I really get interested in like, I really lean into what does that look like and how do you demonstrate that in your organisation?
Well, actually, with Sky Sport, we've been calling it a rāhui instead of isolation or lockdown, and it does make you, I think, feel better when it is put in perspective like that or in terms like that. But for people that are watching, how can they get in touch with you if they want to know more or would like some more information about you and what you're doing?
So we do have a Facebook page. It's just Gail and ARI. That's probably one of the quickest ways to get in touch with us. Otherwise, Ariana at akanz.co.nz is my email address. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. We would just love to be able to keep. One of the things we recognise is that kaimahi who are preparing to come out of level 4, go into level 3, maybe back to level 2, there's not like you're just going. You're going to rewind everything over the last 6 weeks. In fact, those last 6 weeks have been so compacted that we really have to allow there to be some breathing in there so that they can start to maybe put to rest some of the things, the anxiousness, the stress, and all those things. And that's really what we are trying to do, is just allow them some breathing space, some thinking space, some tools and strategies along the way to identify what showed up for them so that they can be more conscious in their day-to-day. We talked about today in our Zui about you are the experts. You are the experts and you are running your show. Don't let this other thing, this fight, flight or fright thing that's in your brain, the amygdala part of your brain, take over you. No. You've got to take control back. And that fight, flight or fright response is it's hijacked us, and it's like it's telling us all of these, you know, and it's not, nobody's switching it off. So we give tools as well to be able to switch those things off. And it, you know, some people find that different strategies will work for them. Meditation does not always work for somebody. Tapping does not always work for somebody. Grounding does not work for somebody. And all of that, there may be something that works for you. So that's what we try and offer to those who are jumping in on the workshops.
Oh, well, Ariana, that is awesome. Thank you for sitting here and talking and listening to you all day. That was amazing. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your time, and thank you for jumping on with us and spending this afternoon with us.
You're welcome, Courtney. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Jada, big shout out to you, Jada. You thought you'd too. Okay.
Thank you everyone, and make sure in the comments is how you can get in touch with Ariana if need be. But thank you so much, and stay safe everyone.
There.